What's up, and welcome back to the Scuffed Ass Podcast for episode number 329. I don't know, Wonder has a child.
I have a child. Say hi. Hi.
Her eyes got so wide.
Right?
Like, oh god, what's happening? Why am I moving? What is this?
Yeah, she
Who
she
am
does
I?
seem very concerned about everything that's going on around her at all times, so.
Well, that's, in the world we live in, that might not be the worst way to live.
Right? Yeah. The world is a concerning place. You don't even know the beginning of it yet.
No. And hopefully she really doesn't for like 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Hopefully she doesn't pull an us and figure it out in like 3. It'd be tough.
Right.
It'd be tough.
I agree.
You can't make it perfect, but hopefully you can make it better than it was for you, Isn't that the goal of parenting?
Do my best. I cannot guarantee anything.
No, nobody can.
But-
Nobody can.
Yeah.
So why are you with child?
Oh, because Aspen is in the process of trying to cook. So it's
What's
kind
for
of hard to do that. I think we're having meatloaf.
Nice.
So, but yeah. So I'm trying to hold on to her until Aspen gets to a point where she can do things with one hand.
Gotcha. That makes
It's kind of
sense.
hard to make meatloaf with one hand. And she wasn't really happy with her carrier. So sometimes Aspen can get away with having her in a carrier, which then frees up her hands. But lately, she usually doesn't like to sit still
Oh,
long
nice.
enough to do anything. So
So my mom's going to be really
Nice.
important for the wedding, huh?
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
As you couldn't tell, she's starting to get mad at me.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, I'll play her favorite thing.
We'll play our favorite game, Upside Down. Oh, there's an actual game. I really thought the favorite game was just going to be Upside Down Time, which was even funnier.
No, it's running. She loves to run.
That's probably not good for you.
Well, yes and no, especially with the school that she's going to attend, because since that seems to be the only sport that our school can win state in. So
That's fair. But like,
it's funny. You look on our wall, and it's literally track, football, track, basketball, track, basketball, track.
is there a football one?
Yes,
When?
1996.
Ah, okay. So I was going to say basketball was what? 2000?
16? No,
No, it was much
2014,
earlier
I
than
think.
that. I think it was earlier than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
So it would have been that
'Cause-
class, which would have been 3 years older than me. I graduated in 2016, so 15, 14, 13,
So like,
12. So it would have been 2012,
yeah, okay.
I believe.
Because I was like, that just feels, yeah, that feels slightly better.
Yeah.
Because I think I don't know, that's unimportant. And then there was another basketball one.
I think so.
All right.
That was early.
Oh,
After football, but before the second basketball.
gotcha.
I might be tripping. It might just be one basketball. I don't know.
See, I was like, is there a more recent one? Because I know they were good, but I thought they choked it because that's what
They
that
did.
school's kind of famous for.
Yep. We make it to the championship often, but
Yeah.
always choke it. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Fun.
Is that fun? Is that your favorite game?
How's wedding preparation going?
Stressful, but not as stressful for me as it is for Aspen. So,
Well, why the hell's that?
because it's to the point where getting the decoration stuff all lined out, that is above my pay grade. So
What the hell does that mean?
where
You
the-
don't
that's where the professionals come in.
know how to
AKA not
decorate?
No,
Oh,
I would not do a very good job at decorating with flowers. So
well, Have you considered getting better?
And the making of bouquets, and that's just not really up my alley.
But
Uh, but I think we're done spending money on everything, so that's
nice.
helpful. Finally.
We're we're excited. My girlfriend's trying to figure out what she's wearing. That's been fun.
Well, she could wear a Darth Vader outfit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I really, based on what I know so far,
Have you wear
guys,
Padme?
that would be funny. Oh,
It would be funny.
can you see it? Can you see Padme peeking out up here, or is she like?
Nope, she's
Okay.
just barely out of.
Okay. I got many things at Fan Expo, obviously.
Hi.
But
Hi, baby.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about how this football season doesn't matter?
For your team or my team or both?
All of them. For no teams.
I know, because I've seen the stupid ass trade this morning.
Yeah, the Rams got Myles Garrett. There's no point.
Yeah,
and
it's over.
Aaron Donald has been posting workout videos every day. Dude, if Aaron Donald comes back, just don't even play the season. Just give the Rams the trophy. Let's go home. I don't care.
Right.
That's not fair.
Yeah. Right.
And plus, everybody's like, well, the Rams need another receiver, so maybe it's not going to be that bad. Dude, Tyreek Hill, Stephon Diggs, and like 7 other dudes are just free agents right now. They're going to have the best receiving core in football, and it's going to piss me the fuck off.
We're surviving.
Oh, survival.
Can't guarantee that's going to last long, but
yeah,
we're here.
Like,
We're here.
It's dumb, and I hate it.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm glad they're on the other side of the aisle.
Why? So you can watch the Bills lose to them in the Super Bowl?
What? Maybe.
I don't think you'd be happy with making it to the Super Bowl. And
I
losing.
mean, at this point, I at least want Josh Allen to make it to a Super Bowl. That way he can at least say, hey, I made it to one.
That's worse for your legacy, let me tell you.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah.
What's worse, making it to the playoffs every single year of your life and you never fucking make it to the Super Bowl? I feel like that's worse.
I'm trying to think of what the actual comparison would be.
Plus, the other thing I will say is every single time the Bills and the Rams play, it's an incredible game to watch. So I know they'll probably get beat. Well, they will get, but Josh Allen will at least make it so it's like a 60 game per game.
So I think it's my internet having a moment. That was fun. Oh. Sorry. My internet's freaking out. I hate that it's mine.
Kind of here on my end.
What?
I said you're here on my end in a little bit, but
yeah, it's cutting in and out because my internet's exploded for some reason.
Huh.
All right, I think we're back though. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back.
I'm trying to think about it because like there aren't a great many examples of it. But it's like when you think about, I don't know, who gets talked about better? Marino, Tarkenton, and Jim Kelly or Warren Moon? I don't think anybody ever says any bad things about Warren Moon, ever.
Right.
Every conversation about Marino, Kelly, and Tarkenton is they never won the big one because they had chances. Warren Moon never had a chance, so no one brings it up. It's like,
fair.
If their careers ended right now, Josh Allen would be remembered more fondly than Joe Burrow. Because Burrow lost his only shot. For Allen, you just go, he never had a real shot. I was watching a thing earlier that's like talking about the worst losses in NFL history. And now I want to like get another podcast going, like a Run the North episode, but with 8 people so we can discuss these different things. But it's like none of the like current era of Josh Allen games really fit there, because like the worst loss of the Josh Allen era is 13 seconds, right? But it was the divisional round. You cannot guarantee that team makes the Super Bowl, let alone wins it. And then what? The second worst loss is the Broncos game last year. And for that, it's like, well, you turned the ball over 5 times and like it was never really that close. It's just the first time ever where you feel like the loss is worse because you were, you know, it was your easiest path to get to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, that's what hurts. But also, if you make it to the Super Bowl, then it's the Bills losing by 30 to the Seahawks because they're the better team in every facet of the game. Like, you're not winning that Super Bowl. Even if Seattle doesn't make it and it's the Rams are winning and it's not going to be close. Did you just get shit on?
Currently, yes. She is still going.
Nice.
I can't tell if I have my headphones on, so I can't tell if it's just gasp or if there's substance behind it.
That's funny.
And I just feel it on my leg, so.
Nice. That's funny.
No, now we're going to eat our fingers.
Well, you know.
She hasn't quite figured that one out yet. She wants to chew on her fingers, but she's not figuring it. She's like, I know I can do it. I just don't know how yet.
That's funny. But yeah. So, and then it's funny. They don't have a single Vikings game, at least in this little bit that they've been talking about. But in every single game they've talked about, they reference a different Vikings game. And it's like, maybe those are actually the worst then. Because they were like, you know, the worst feeling, this was like my favorite quote from listening to them talk. It's like, well, the worst feeling has got to be when you know, lose that playoff game that you feel like you should win due to something awful. And then you don't make the playoffs again for a decade. Like, that's got to be the worst loss. And they're like, you know, like the 98 Vikings, you miss a surefire field goal and then you don't win another playoff game until 2009.
Go see mommy. Yeah, but I still like that game.
Oh,
angry.
No. But yeah.
Thanks.
Poor guy.
But
like, you know, you don't win another game for 10 years, another playoff game for 10 years. And they're like, yeah. And then that game in 2009, I think something happened there too. I think somebody pondered passing. It's like, fuck you. Right. I was so mad. I was like, why'd you do that to me? And then you don't make win another playoff game for like 7 years. And then Blair Walsh does Blair Walsh things. And then, you know, the Vikings are just like, they were talking about the Bills because there was like the 4 Super Bowls you lost back to back to back. 3 of those, like, I don't even feel that bad. You got blown out. Like, that's not a bad loss. You got shit kicked. The only one of those that's a bad loss is, you know, the first one where you missed wide right and you lost a game by a point. You got to win that one. And it's like, when you think about that run, you're not going to be like, oh, well, we should have won these 3. It's always the first one that matters because it's the only one that actually had a chance for you to win. Like, you never were competitive in those.
Right. Well, and then you feel like you set yourself up for failure after that because you got there, you should have won it, and you didn't. And so that just starts the curse, you know?
Yep. And then every time you go back, it's just not.
Right. Things just don't go your way. The other team is way more talented than you are, which seems to be a trend, you know? The other side seems to be a lot more better coached and talented and have better results in their draft classes and
normally,
you know, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy. But yeah. And then like I've been trying to think about it. Like, obviously the worst loss of all time is 28-3. You had a 25-point lead with 17 minutes left in a Super Bowl. and like since that game, your team never won another playoff game, and you've been like stuck in turmoil and had to then live through like the worst things. And like that one's even worse because like, yeah, you like gave up the lead. But then even with 4 minutes left, Julio Jones makes the greatest catch in the history of football. And then you take a sack and a 15-yard penalty and have to punt when you were on the 22-yard line. Should have just kicked a field goal and won the game, and it doesn't. Like, and then it's the fact that it's the Patriots. So even though it's the worst loss of all time, it's also Tom Brady. So it's going to get brought up every time the greatest player in the history of the sport is talked about, because that is also his crowning achievement is 28-3. Like, that's got to be the worst loss in NFL history. I don't really think. Like, as much as the other ones suck, it's like, it is every Vikings one, but it's also the Super Bowl instead of just before the Super Bowl. It's, you know, not every Bills one, because the Bills don't always lose bad. Like, the Bills are a confusing team.
I would agree. They're literally the worst team I know.
But yeah. And then it's like trying to run through all of them. It's like, I don't think a blowout counts because that means you never really had a shot. It hurts worse to have a shot. Like the 2018 Saints, the year after the Minneapolis Miracle, when they lose the game to the Rams on like the worst missed pass interference call ever. Like, that's got to be up there, because it's not even one where you go, oh, we should have made that kick, or, you know, oh, you know, guy dropped it, or, you know, whatever. It's, oh, the refs just decided we're losing this game. Because, like, if that penalty never happens, like, they run the clock out, they kick the field goal that they made anyways, and they win the football game. If the pass interference call is actually made, they run the clock out, kick the field goal, and win the game. And this is one where I'm willing to assume they make the field goal, because they made the longer field goal. The issue is you went from, you know, first down to fourth down on that play. So you had to kick the field goal. Then you get to run no clock. You give the Rams time to go score, which ties the game. And then you go to overtime. Like, because I hate they still had a chance to win. It's like, but that doesn't matter. That was the play that wins the game. It's just like technically.
Because it never should have happened.
Yeah, the Malcolm Butler interception in the Seahawks-Patriots Super Bowl. Like, that play hurts less if it's fourth down and, like, it doesn't matter. But, like, it's second down. But, like, the Seahawks still had a chance to win. Just stop Tom Brady from going and scoring, right? You're the best defense ever. But also, if you just give the ball to Marshawn Lynch and he scores a touchdown, it doesn't fucking matter.
You have the best running back in the league at the time. And
like, you know, it's one of those, like, there are things, but it's like, it's not, you know, there's problems here.
The Bills fans they crack me up a little bit, because they're all pissed off that we didn't go and get Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, you know, what would the Bills had to given up in order to get Myles Garrett? Like, A, we don't have money. B, who do we have that would be worth verse?
Right.
We don't have a verse.
That's the thing. I'm struggling with it, because you traded Myles Garrett. You should get many first round picks. In my mind, you should. But it's also like, I don't even think Jared Verse is never going to be on a Myles Garrett level. No, I don't know if I think Jared Verse is like a true premier pass rusher in the NFL. But he's like 24, 3 years of rookie, or two or 3 years of rookie deal left. And then you get to re-sign him for a while. And it's like, yeah, man, you could have 3 first-round picks. And those first-round picks could be anything. They could even be Jared Verse. Like, you would love it if one of those picks turned into a Jared Verse. It's really hard to quantify how much value there is in Jared Verse.
Right. Well, I look at it this way. Like, look at the Seahawks last year. They never really had, like, a dude that was getting after the quarterback. They had a lineup of people that consistently got after the quarterback. Even though they weren't getting sacks, they were pressuring. Their pressure rate was one of the highest in the league. And I think their highest person that had sacks was 7 or something like that. So that's not a very high sack rate compared to like Garrett or whoever else that you would think of that has a really high sack rate. I feel like in a way, I feel like getting a multitude of people that consistently put pressure on the quarterback, not necessarily get sacks, but can put pressure on the quarterback and do that from the beginning of the game to the end of the game.
Counterpoint, though. So that group of guys isn't getting pressure on every snap. Myles Garrett has never lost a rep in his career. Not one time has he been blocked. Not once. He is,
right.
Like, arguably, he's the greatest pass rusher to ever live, and he's 30. Like, like, you're right. You want that consistency, but you're getting that consistency from one guy, and then everybody else has an easier job because 3 people are trying to stop that guy and failing, which leaves the rest of you one-on-one with an offensive lineman, so you get that consistency from the other guys anyways, while also having a superstar. Like, Myles Garrett, this is the argument I've always hated. It's the who's better, TJ Watt or Myles Garrett? It's Myles Garrett.
Right.
Because Myles Garrett is at the level of impact of like prime Von Miller, prime JJ Watt, prime Aaron Donald. Mm-hmm. These guys that are just different monsters. You can be a Hall of Fame player and not be that level of guy. There's only been maybe 10 of that level of guy in the history of the NFL.
Right. And and I will say that as much of a monster as he is, you still see some reduction in his gameplay at the end of the game versus when he starts. He's still phenomenally, effective at the end of the game. Not saying that.
But also yes, but no, because it's also the Browns and they're down by 30. And what's the point?
True. But you see it with not just him, though. You see it with, JJ Watt and Aaron Donald and whoever else that's been that elite person. You get tired. You're human,
yes, But also, remember those guys. That's true throughout the regular season. Right. But outside of JJ Watt, because he never won, the Bengals-Rams Super Bowl, who made the most important play on the last play of the game?
Bengals-Rams Super Bowl.
The one that the Rams won.
Oh, Aaron Donald?
Yeah. Who made the play that won the Broncos Super Bowl 50? At the end of the game when everybody's tired. Von Miller.
Right.
Like, Myles Garrett is that guy. Like,
right.
Because it won't matter that he's tired. Who cares if he rips both of his knees apart? He won't. He's going to give you more at that last play of the game than anybody because he wants it so bad. Especially since he's been in Cleveland his whole career and has played in one meaningful game ever. Like,
right. I'm not saying that it's, more or less effective to have that dude. I'm just saying that Seahawks are a good example as to there's a pathway to having consistent good guys, not phenomenal, but like consistently having a rotation of good guys and still, and they're proof that you can win a Super Bowl that way and effectively, Granted, I feel like the challengers from the other side of the aisle weren't really the best team that should have been there.
Yeah.
I think pretty much any other team on our side that was good should have probably would have been a better game.
Yeah.
Broncos, Jaguars, Bills. I think any of those teams would have been a better game than the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots just didn't have the talent. But I think the thing with the Seahawks that also matters is like, yes, that consistent group of guys who can get pressures is great, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I think not enough ever gets said about like when you don't have the dominant guy. You are, no matter what, you are asking more of your defensive backs. And Seattle had the defensive backs to do that. And it also helps when you play a team like the Patriots where they don't have real wide receivers. Mac Hollins is cool, man, but he shouldn't be like the primary target on a Super Bowl team.
Right.
Like
well, I mean, the Seahawks, they played good teams throughout the season too.
Well, yeah, but like it makes
Bowl,
it that makes it easier is all I was saying. But
right. But it wasn't just you know, they were struggling up front. They were still one of the highest like pressure rated defenses in the league last year, I believe.
Right. So, and a lot of that comes from not just having great players, but also we have to remember who Mike Macdonald is as a head coach and as a defensive play caller. That was what he was doing with the Ravens too, when they didn't have anybody who could rush the passer. Right. Like that is how his defense works. And that's, you know, that's why they haven't spent the huge money to go get a, you know, pass rusher. They've spent the money on safeties and corners, and because it's, if we can hold our coverage long enough, I can get just about anybody to generate pressure. But the same works in the opposite way. Whereas if you can get a Myles Garrett, and I think the other big thing is we have to look at this, like the picks don't matter. The Rams defensive line was already doing that. And Jared Verse was just he's, you know, getting pressure slowly. The Rams defensive line doesn't change other than you swap out a pretty good defensive end with the best player in the NFL.
Right.
Like they're still going to have the rotation of guys who can get pressure. I mean, Jared Verse hasn't been their best defensive lineman ever. Like he hasn't.
Right. I think you know, for what they're doing and where they're at as a team, I think it was a good move for them.
Yeah.
Like they were paying Myles Garrett a lot of money, and now they're getting a person that is young, cheap, still really good. And they got a lot of draft capital, which is what they need. They're rebuilding. And so I think they're on a good track to becoming a good team. Probably at least I'm saying 2 or 3 years down the road before they start being.
Well, because they got to figure out
they're trying to work for.
They got to figure out a quarterback. Is it Shedeur or do they have to draft another guy?
Right. Yeah, that'll be. Or, you know, you got all this draft capital. You get your team where you kind of half-ass like it. Trade for a quarterback that's decent.
But then that becomes the thing of like, who's actually going to be available?
I don't know. Look for Sam Darnold, I guess.
But that's not trading for a quarterback who's decent. That is pulling the Browns thing of all time. See, the Browns are the reverse Vikings. They bring in a guy with uber talent who's had struggles in his career, and he never is good for the Browns. The Vikings bring in a guy who's been like, oh, this guy should be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He has all the talent. He's just never put it together. He goes to Minnesota, and he's that guy because I don't actually know why or how that works. I don't know the science behind that, but it sure does happen a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
It might happen again this year with Kyler. Who knows? Kyler might not win the starting job. I refuse to just give it to him.
Right. Well, they're gonna fight for it, but like I have a pretty strong suspicion that Kyler's gonna beat out JJ.
I don't. Kyler has never once had to earn his spot anywhere.
Fair.
I think people forget Cade McNamara at Michigan was supposed to be like a number 1 NFL pick. JJ showed up as a freshman and stole his job, and he never played another down of football. Like, JJ likes the competition. And
well, I hope you're right. I mean, I hope that JJ is able to, you know, put it together. And
I appreciate that it actually seems like it's a real QB competition, because a lot of people said that's not how it's going to be. They're just going to hand it to Kyler. And then, like, throughout training camp, JJ got the first run with the first team anyways. And, like, they've actually been splitting reps. So it genuinely is going to be who's the better QB. And
Right.
in that case, I'm good with it. Because either way, you have a backup that you at least can have some faith in. Like, as bad as JJ was, the dude's also still 6-4 as a starter. He's normally not going to lose you football games. He's not going to Max Brosmer this shit. Right. He might not win you the game, but he's probably not going to throw it away.
Yeah.
And that's pretty useful.
There was I was listening to a guy talk today about the Myles Garrett trade and the Bills and stuff. And while I was on the side of, I don't think it was feasible for the Bills to even acquire him in the first place. Because there was a lot of people that are bitching about the Bills never really take that step to get that guy, you know. But this guy was like, well, you know, I don't think Myles Garrett would have been a fit at the Bills anyway. And that's what caught me. I was like, okay, I got to hear this stupid shit. And the guy was like, well, you know, Myles Garrett, he's used to that, you know, 4-3 type defense. And, you know, I don't think he would have been able to make it, you know, perhaps he might not have done well because coming to the Bills, they're going to the 3-4 defense. I'm like, you're stupid. Myles Garrett is the type of athlete that's going to excel anywhere he's at. He is the best, you know, dude, line pass rusher in the league.
My thing when it comes to how good Myles Garrett is will always be the clip of him lining up over the center and literally saying, here's what I'm going to do, and showing him the exact pass rush move he was going to do before the snap, and then still murdering him. It doesn't matter. Myles Garrett, well, he's a 4-3 defensive end. He lines up at nose tackle and wins because he's fucking Myles Garrett. Shut up.
Right, yeah, I was literally in the truck by myself yelling at my phone. I'm like, you are the dumbest person.
That's ridiculous.
You should never even talk. You should never bring this up. Forget you ever said this. You know, delete this off the internet if you can, because you are stupid and making yourself look really dumb. The fact that you even had this thought process, because Myles Garrett will play good anywhere he's at. In a 4-3 defense, shit, you could play a defense where he's literally the only person on the line, and he'll still win somehow. So
yeah. He's that good. Like, Myles Garrett is unquestionably a Hall of Famer. And if the NFL did what, like, baseball does, where their Hall of Fame has tiers, basically, he would be an inner circle Hall of Famer. He is this is one of, like, the Hall of Fame is all full of the greatest to ever do it. No, but this is one of those, like, 10 guys where you go, there's just nothing you can do.
20, 30 years down the road, you're like, what's the standard I should shoot for as a elite player? And he's one of the people that's brought up.
Yep.
You know?
Like,
but
yeah.
Yep. There's a lot of salty Bills fans about not getting Myles Garrett. I get it. I want Myles Garrett as much as the next guy, but also, like, it just wasn't feasible. We do not have the money. We don't have.
Say, if you could figure out the money, like, you could have just traded 7 first-round picks, and honestly, it might be worth it. But especially when you're the Bills, because like, the biggest issue with the Bills is that even when they try to, you know, build Myles Garrett in the aggregate, they can't, because the strategy of, like, what the Seahawks did, it works when you have 5 or 6 guys who are really good. The Bills have, like, one guy who's really good. They're not good at finding even the really good guy.
And the thing is I think the Bills had last year a couple guys that could beat those dudes. But unfortunately, the injury bug seems to strike us every year. And that one person that seems to start out super good, oh, he's going to be elite, he's going to be the game changer, and then tears an Achilles, or, you know, blows a knee out, or tears a bicep, and then they're out for the season. And it's every single year we have something like that. So I get so there was a lot of people that are upset about the idea of us loading up on, you know, cornerbacks and defensive backs and, you know, D linemen, and all the people are upset about us loading up on these. I get why Bean is doing what he is doing, because we've had back-to-back years where we get to the playoffs and we have half the defense that we started with. And we have people who should barely even be on the practice squad starting for us in a playoff game and getting murdered. So when your defense is averaging 30 points against them for the last like 3 or 4 years in a row, due to lack of talent and having third and fourth and fifth ring players in, there's, I get it. I understand why he's like overloading defensive players. He wants to have like, oh, this person goes down, not a big deal. We could put, whoever, CJ goes down. We have 2 other guys that aren't going to lose you the game, or aren't going to get absolutely burned like, who did we draft late? Or didn't draft, but we acquired late. I think it's Slater.
I have no idea.
Defensive back, puts him into the game for 1 play. Dude gets touchdown throw. He goes, turns his hips the wrong direction. Receiver jukes him out, and he almost falls flat on his face trying to turn to catch up with the receiver, and the receiver's just wide open in the end zone. And it was pretty hard to watch. It was pretty pathetic to see someone who's supposed to be, an elite athlete in the NFL, and they just aren't.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't even be an elite athlete on a high school team. How they made it to the NFL is beyond me. But yeah,
Oh my God. Real quick, I have to bring this up because I just saw this tweet. Sauce Gardner, top 5 corner in the NFL, saw the tweet that the Rams have added both Trent McDuffie and Myles Garrett this offseason, which is crazy.
Right.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, and I forgot they got McDuffie. That's yeah, I quit. But Sauce Gardner, the picture has Trent McDuffie smiling all big as shit, and he's like, yeah, this is exactly how Trent's smiling right now, knowing he only has to cover for half a second.
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't go 17-0, man.
They won't.
Or like 16-1.
I don't know. That is such a ridiculous standard to try to go to, because the Rams still have flaws. Their offensive line's not perfect. I don't love their run game. Like, they really do only have 2 receivers. But, like, it's the thing of they should easily be able to beat everyone, but they're not unbeatable by any means. And, like, no team ever really has been. I know the Dolphins back in the 70s actually managed to go undefeated, but that's different. But, like, even the 07 Patriots, like, the Giants weren't special. They weren't great. They weren't even particularly good. And they beat the greatest team of all time. Like,
right. Yep.
And like
the other takes one day of not having a good game, and you lose to another team that's mediocre. Or every team is, the athletes are there for a reason, for the most part. Like, they're professional athletes.
Yeah.
Even the lower tier people that are there are professional athletes.
Oh, it's the thing we always say, right? The like, could Alabama compete with, for last year, I guess it would be the Titans. No, they'd lose by 100, because it's just, Alabama has 10 NFL level players. The Titans have 53. Like, it's different. It's, you don't make a professional roster if you're not that good. And like, we always talk about, well, this guy sucks. Yeah. In comparison to the NFL, it's the Brian Scalabrine thing, right? I've told you about this, right? The basketball player who's like, yeah, I sucked compared to other NBA players, but you all have to remember, I'm closer to LeBron James than any of you will ever be to me. And it's like, that's true. Like
True, it
the
is.
worst. Max Brosmer is closer to Patrick Mahomes than either of us would ever be. That's just true.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he sucks
Right.
compared to other NFL guys. That's different. You know, there's 600 NFL guys in a world of 8 billion people. That's, you know, that's not a.
Right. Like that's the equivalent of me of going right now and playing again in like a middle school game or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
We're going undefeated, no matter what team I'm on.
pretty much. Yeah. Like, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that is something I didn't think about. So Myles Garrett set the sack record last year.
Right.
Most sacks in a season while playing for a team that was trailing at halftime 75% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's now going to be playing for a team who's going to have to lead a lot, which means more pass rushing snaps.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how close he can get to 30. And like, imagine Aaron Donald actually does come back.
He might, just because he wants to partake in one more ring.
Right. And it's like, it's the Von Miller to the Rams thing, right? It's like, is he maybe a little past his prime and like he's not going to be the sure, but does he still have a couple good reps in him? Because like Von Miller didn't do much for the Rams until the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl, and then it was like, oh yeah, that's Von Miller, right? I forgot about him. You could do that with Aaron Donald. He doesn't have to do much until it matters, and then it's like, okay, every snap we're just gonna rush 2 guys. Here's Von Miller and. Or, you know, here's Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett. What are you going to do?
Right.
And that's not even including, you know, like I said, the Rams' actual best defensive lineman is Byron Young. He's still there.
Yep.
Like, and then you still have Kobe Turner, who is the same level of pass rusher so far that Jared Verse has been. It's like, I don't know, man. I think the Rams just went, well, we're going to have to pay 4 of these guys. What if we just don't?
Right.
Get rid of the one who's going to demand the most money while maybe not being worth it and call it good.
I also seen the Bills freaking out because Stephon Diggs posted a thing. He posted a thing on Twitter. It was him in his Bills jersey and said something like, might have to run it back or something like that. I'm like, I would not get your hopes up there, Bills, because knowing that guy, he is probably trolling you.
Like, he might be trolling, but also run it back.
Right. His age, and he just blew a knee out, and
He didn't just blow a knee out. What are you talking about? He blew a knee out 2 years ago, and last year was like the 8th best receiver in all of football. And was more reliable than anyone who's ever played for the Bills not named Stephon Diggs. What?
I don't know why I was thinking he got hurt last year.
No, he played for the Patriots and was awesome.
That's right. Yep. You're right.
Didn't he bully the Bills in particular?
He did.
I was going to say, didn't he have like 8 catches for 180 yards in like the first half against
That's
the
not
Bills?
saying much because, you know, our defense is ass as usual, but
yeah, no, he was great last year. He didn't catch a lot of touchdowns, but
like it's an argument. I mean, if he wants to come back, I don't think he'll cost that much.
No, probably not.
It'll probably cost the bare minimum. I mean, you have DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, and you know, Khalil Shakir in the slot. Might be, you know, interesting.
Yeah.
It'd probably be the best receiving core that Josh Allen ever has in his lifetime. So
yeah, probably. Because like that's the thing. Diggs was great as a primary receiver last year. But you're not gonna be asking him to be the number 1 and maybe not even the number 2.
Well, and I feel like maybe he might not be quite as much of a diva if he's, you know, he's coming in on a minimum deal and not really expected to be the wide receiver number 1. Because like I understand because the Bills kind of shifted over into the everybody eats kind of, you know, mentality while Stephon was there, and Stephon cares about his numbers.
Yeah.
And so when he goes 2 games and only gets thrown the ball once or twice, it, got under his skin. I understand.
Especially back then when you're in your prime and still like undeniably one of the 5 best receivers in the league. It's like, yeah, I get it. Get everybody the ball, but also, hey, you idiots, the best player on the field is right here. Give me the ball. Like it's the AJ Brown thing currently. Will he be this way in 3 years? No. Right now, do I understand why he's like, give me the fucking ball? Yeah. Yeah, I do. Now, sometimes it's the separation between being one of the best in the game and being Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and apparently JSN, where it's just like, I don't have to demand the ball because I'm still going to put up my numbers because I'm just better than you.
Right. I'm going to get open and I'm going to get ball.
There's still tiers to this. And normally the divas are in that second highest tier. Normally, sometimes you get a Terrell Owens, but that's different.
Yeah, because
I don't care if you're a diva when you're the best receiver in football. Fuck it, do what you want.
Right. Well, and the thing is typically when you're the best receiver in football, you're not a diva because you don't have anything to prove. You know you're the best.
Right.
Everybody knows you're the best. But somebody like Stephon Diggs, who thinks he could be better and has the possibility to be better, but his numbers aren't showing that, he still has something to prove. Yeah. Therefore, could get upset about not getting the volume that he's hoping for. He's not competing with the top receivers like he feels like he should.
Right.
And he feels like it's out of his control because he's not being targeted more,
Right.
So, I don't know. If he wants to come back, I'm not going to stop him.
It's why I'm kind of sad the Vikings signed Jawan Jennings. It's like a part of me was kind of hoping that wide receiver 3 would be Diggs. Because I just think he could fill a different role than, I don't know. The Vikings receivers all feel very similar. Like they all have really good overall skill sets, but they all just feel like similar skill sets where Diggs kind of does something different.
Right.
So it's like, I would have kind of loved that. It's why, even though I hate him as a human and I'm glad he wasn't the guy, when people would say, well, what if we go get Tyreek Hill because he's like grew up a Vikings fan? It's like, I kind of hate it, but also he does something that no other Vikings receiver does. So sure.
Right.
Jawan Jennings, it's just like he's Dollar Tree version of Jordan Addison, who's Dollar Tree Justin Jefferson. It's like, all right. It's still good, but it's like I like diverse skill sets, Many guys who can do many things.
Right. Addison's more like bought from a Dollar Tree and then like donated to a Goodwill and then rebought again.
I was gonna say, sure. Jordan Addison is like thrift store Justin Jefferson. You better.
Yes, there you go. Yes. Yep. But I mean, every once in a while, you can walk into a thrift store and there's an antique in there that's you buy for $12 and you resell it for $300. But that's once in 20 years kind of thing. I don't know. I don't even know a good example of the NFL that would be a good example of that. But
what do you mean? Like the thrift?
Like a person, like a player that everybody was kind of like, oh, they're shit and don't look at anymore. So somebody just comes and picks them up just to kind of
Sam
fill
Darnold?
a roster spot. Yes and no.
No, Sam Darnold, he was completely given up on and was a backup to Brock Purdy a year before he went to Minnesota. See, what Minnesota did was they did the old Facebook Marketplace guy where they went and got the guy from the thrift store, polished it up real pretty, and then sold it to the highest bidder. And then now regrets it because, man, that would have looked really good in the living room. That would have looked really good on the mantle. But, they still did that. I'm trying to think. There are definitely other guys that are like that. I mean, technically, Diggs and the Patriots last year would be that.
Von Miller
No,
last year.
no.
He actually put up pretty solid numbers last year.
Yeah, but they weren't Von
And
Miller
everybody was
numbers.
Right. I'm not saying that
And he
was
did it
elite
for
Von
Washington,
Miller.
so it doesn't count.
I mean,
When you do it for a team that wins one game, I don't really care.
well, everybody kind of gave up on him, and he comes out and has like a, I don't know. He was better than every single Bills defensive lineman. So
Well, yeah, but that bar's really low.
it was literally the lowest bar in the league.
I know.
You know how that was possible, but well, I mean, 4 injuries later, I mean, I get that, but you got 3 rookies playing, and so I don't know. I'm optimistic. Hopefully, the Bills like show a little bit of progression with their defense. I know it's a new scheme, and they're probably going to go through some growing pains, but like, I feel like we're a little more solid personnel wise and ceiling wise than we have been defensively the last 5 years.
Sure, that's fair.
So I'm optimistic about the defense. Offense, I'm a little worried about that lineman job, because we got rid of what's his bucket, which you guys took, who I think was
again, that's a backup.
Fill in.
Unless you really fail the Deion Dawkins thing, which if you elect to do that, just execute Brandon Beane. I don't care that he's old. Pay him what he wants. He's a solid left tackle, and we saw what happens with Mahomes without an offensive line, and I'm sorry, Mahomes is still a better quarterback than Josh. Don't ruin Josh's chances. Just don't.
Right, but Deion Dawkins, there's a lot of people that were upset because he had the most penalties, and the problem was he wasn't as good. He was still extremely solid and extremely good, even though he had put on extra weight that kind of slowed him down a little bit. But I don't think people realize how much the Bills kind of left him out to hang. As far as defensively, he was on an island by himself 90% of the time, which is higher than any other player on an offensive line on any NFL team.
Yeah, the only guy who's on an island more technically is Christian Darrisaw, but he wasn't playing because he got hurt from being on an island so fucking much.
And so, I think it would have been an extremely big mistake to trade or let Deion Dawkins go and try to bring someone in that's going to fill what he does. I know he's older, but he also has the wisdom and the.
And it's just offensive line, man. 32, 33. For offensive linemen, that's not that old. They routinely play into their late 30s, early 40s, especially the great ones. And part of the reason he put on extra weight is because of what the Bills were trying to do last year. Oh, we're going to turn into all we do is run the football. Cool, I want to be bigger so I can push people around. Because when you're pass blocking, you're not pushing people around. You're just being a brick wall.
The issue was he didn't put on weight and muscle. He got carried away in the off season with eating and wasn't keeping to his strict diet that he normally does. Gained extra fluff rather than muscle, and he said himself that he felt like he was sluggish and was slowed down by the extra weight. So that's why he set out to go on to this diet plan. He's got his personal trainer that's, he's thinned down. I don't know how much weight he's lost, but he's thinned down. He's back down to where he normally is at.
Yeah.
So, because he was a little buttered about all of the talk on the offseason about we should move on from him. These people, even though they're players, they still see what the general public is talking about.
Yeah.
And so you guys got to be careful about, smack talking to people and just throwing shit out there, because eventually if you you don't want your players to lose faith in their fan base, and you want them to be confident, and you want them to play their best. And are they going to play their best if they don't feel like the public and their fan base is behind them? Probably not. They're probably going to look to go somewhere else where they're appreciated. It's just like any other. It's a job to them. It's just like any other workplace. You go to the workplace. Do you plan? Do you work better when you're appreciated, or do you work better when people, slander you behind your back while you're trying to do the best you can? So, just a forewarning, in my opinion. I think the guy was not that bad last year. Yes, he had extra penalties that kind of sucked, but the dude was still better than 90% of the league. So, shut up.
Yeah. It's funny that this turned into an entirely football conversation. So, before we wrap up, anything happen with your week?
Today was a terrible day. Let me just.
All right.
For work, I had to be boss man today. Well, nice. I was yesterday too, but it wasn't nearly as bad as today. I had 8 million phone calls, and it was pretty much just me. I had one other guy in my department that, that does the maintenance stuff like I do. So I was in charge of him, but he's the only guy other than me. So he was busy doing stuff that needed to get done before tomorrow because we have a bunch of bigwigs coming. So I got a phone call from one of our higher ups that's in charge of our entire department, and we have barn swallows. The birds that usually nest along the bridges and stuff. They make their nests out of mud.
Yeah.
They have moved into the area and have been a problem for like the last 10 years. And they just keep getting more and more and more. There's like millions of them, and they're building their nests on the buildings now. And we paid a ton of money for bird mitigation, and it's like they put up this metal that they're not supposed to be able to build their nests on. And they put them up, and then the birds just build below them or move to a different part of the building that doesn't have it. And so I got asked for like the fourth time in the last month, to go and remove the nests that they're building. And I have to, because it's mud, it makes a huge mess all over the sidewalks. And so I have to scrape everything off. And then the only thing I could think of, because we usually try to put up these like nets to try and deter them from building their nests there. Well, the nets, because the wind blows 1,000,000 miles an hour here, the nets never stay in place. And so they don't do anything. And so I got the idea of going and buying chicken wire and put up chicken wire to try that to see if it would, because you basically have to keep a space between the wall and, put a barrier so that they can't build their nest on the wall, because it has to be something solid so they can, But so I pretty much was doing that all day, and I had to be done today because we got important people coming there tomorrow, which I had to do that job by myself, which is a really hard job to do because I got to scrape everything off and then trying to hold the chicken wire in place and still, while at the top of a 6-foot ladder, while trying not to fall off the ladder and, get everything lined up and not look bad because I'm trying to make it look presentable, and it was just a royal pain in the ass. And then after I got the chicken wire up, I had to go drag a heavy ass pressure washer by myself. And that also sucked to do by myself, trying to do everything all hooked up, get it all dragged out. Because I have to go grab a trailer and hook it up to a side-by-side, drag the trailer to the building, and then drag it to where the building's at, because the parking lot's way far away from the building, and spray off all of the mud. And so it was just pain. And then there was 8 million phone calls and air conditioning stuff going down, and yeah, it just sucked. I just was running the whole time I was there.
That's crazy.
And I'm
Makes
also
sense,
covered
but
in bird shit. That's why I had to shower when the first thing I had to do when I got back was shower. It's because when you spray the pressure washer, all the bird shit on the walls and stuff just sprays right back at you because the wind's always blowing in Wyoming.
yeah,
So yeah, I was covered in bird shit and I had to shower.
nice.
So I apologize for being a little bit late.
No worries. I think, that's bird shit's fun.
Yeah. I don't understand why they're a protected species. There's literally millions of them.
Did you do
But
anything this weekend?
this weekend, yeah, I went to. My niece was in the all-star basketball game.
Nice. How was that?
It was pretty good. They had the lead. They had 28-point lead going to halftime, and they came back and lost
Nice.
by 3 points.
You know, you're not supposed to do
So, well, I mean, is what it is.
that.
They were supposed to get blown out because it was mostly Nebraska personnel against Wyoming personnel. So, in theory, the bigger schools should blow out the smaller schools, but we were doing really well. It's just we got to where our rotation was not a good match with the rotation of the other team. So in other words, we always had our really short point guard type girls up against the really tall, really good up against the basket type girls, and didn't have our tall girls. And that's a recipe for disaster. So, but we did that, and then I don't even remember what happened over the next couple days. I don't think there was anything super phenomenal. I cooked steak.
Nice. How was steaks?
Yeah. And then I cooked salmon one day, and then that turned out really, really well, actually. Grilled it. And the next day did steaks. So a couple of good meals
Nice.
over the weekend. So
Nice. We it was Fan Expo, so Comic-Con, but here style.
oh yeah, that's right. How'd that go?
That was a lot. Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. We my brain has exploded. Sorry.
Fine.
But so the first day we were there, we got there early, so we had to stand in line to get let in for like an hour. We got in, we went, like the thing my girlfriend wanted to do most was go meet Matthew Lillard. He's Shaggy from the live action Scooby-Doo, and he was Billy Brubaker. Yeah, like been in a lot of things. He was just in the new season of Daredevil Born Again. Like everybody knows Matthew Lillard. Everybody loves Matthew Lillard. So we go there to see like when he's going to be there for his meet and greets and stuff. And he has a lady out there not selling tickets, but giving out tickets so you can reserve your spot for stuff. Well, the first 2 time slots he's there for, people have already gotten tickets for. The con's been open for like 10 minutes. So it's like, holy fuck. Okay.
Damn.
So we get our ticket so we can come back at like 2 or whatever. I think it was at 2. So it's like 10 a.m. or it's, 11:30. So we've got, 2.5 hours to kill. So we go, we're walking around the con, looking at stuff, whatever. Go back because it's finally time to do the meet and greet, stand in line forever. He shows up half an hour earlier than he was supposed to while we're like standing in line. So that's good. So the line moved faster, whatever. He took more time with each person than I kind of thought he would. Sat and talked with us for a bit, was checking out all of our tattoos. basically kissed the D20 on my hand, which is really funny. He liked the D&D tattoo. He liked
Fair
the
enough.
D&D tattoo. So that was fun. And then we finished that, walked around the con, ended up being there for like 8 hours the first day. We had planned to be there for like 4 or 5. And then, you know, we go home and we're like, okay, tomorrow we're going to go obviously finish what we're looking at, but we're not going to stay as long as we did yesterday. Well, and then one of our friends went with us. So we were there for 9 hours the second day. So much longer than planned. And then Saturday we go back because my girlfriend had planned a surprise for me. This is the one that I know you've already seen. The like. So I got to meet Sam Witwer for a minute. That was cool. Have a picture with Sam Witwer now, so that's fun.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. But outside of that, that was it. We like had our ticket to go to Sunday, but we were like, we're done. We did more than planned on each day except for Saturday. Let's just call it good here.
That's fair.
Yeah. Trying to think of anything else that's happened in the last week. I was gonna spend some time talking about the thing I'm gonna announce tonight on stream because this podcast will be out, you know, after it's announced.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also, you know, over an hour into this and you have stuff you want to do, and I want to try to convince you to come be around to play games later, so we should hang out.
I'll have to ask the boss, but I'll let you know in a few minutes.
Please do. But yeah, so we'll talk about that part next week, I guess. And that'll be fun because that's another fucking 40-minute conversation probably, and I don't think you got time for that. You want to go eat your dinner.
Yeah, it smells really good.
All right.
I will say.
Well, then I guess, unless you got anything else,
Nope.
then I guess that'll do it for us. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.